Greetings everyone, welcome to ADV Japan. I apologize for the sporadic release of videos. I've had this bike in the shop for 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks to get through the inspection process, and that was because I was waiting on the filter, which I had no idea was in such bad shape. You can see the picture up in the corner there. I wish I had known that. I would have ordered the filter myself, because the shop took a week and a half to order this stupid filter. So yeah, my bike was in the shop for 2 weeks. I also just got my rear molars taken out, the wisdom teeth, and I've been in a tremendous amount of pain. I'm still in pain. In fact, I have a dry socket in one of them, which is slowing the healing process and making it incredibly painful. So I've been out for a little while, but hopefully I'll get back into the groove here. I am excited though. I'm pushing through this pain because I did get my front engine sprocket. I'm pretty excited about this. I was gonna have them do it at the shop, and they told me that there is no front engine sprocket, which is bullshit because there is one. I'm not gonna take my bike back to that shop again. But yeah, this is supposed to improve the low-end performance of the KTM 390 Adventure, which is something I'm really looking forward to. I got this in like 4 days. It was so fast. I ordered it from Italy, a company called Capri, I think. I'll leave a link in the description. You guys can check that out. It's hard to find this in Japan. In fact, I mean, JTSprocket does sell in Japan, but this particular sprocket, the JTF 1908 14 tooth sprocket for the KTM 390 Adventure is almost impossible to find here in Japan. Thankfully, that company out of Italy does prioritize shipping, and they don't charge a whole lot of money. I believe I picked this up for maybe like 40 bucks total. I know this is cheap. I think the actual sprocket was like $10. And then I paid 30 bucks in shipping to get it here. So I ordered a couple other things just to make the shipping worth it. So yeah, let's go ahead and put this in. This is a really simple install. It shouldn't take too long. It's looking like it might actually rain. I hope not. We'll see. I'll see if I can get this done before it starts raining. Okay, let's get over the tools here that you're gonna need. So you're gonna need a 6mm or a number 6 Allen wrench. You're gonna need a socket driver here with a size 17. This will be for the rear wheel. We're probably gonna have to do some adjustments back there. And then a size number 8 socket for up front here, the sprocket cover there. And then on the back side, you're gonna need a breaker bar here to help pull that off. And then on the other side, that is a 17. On the other side, it's a 21mm size nut. So this will help get that off as well too. I still don't have a really good set of combination wrenches. I need to pick that up. But I'm gonna go ahead and use this to release the lock nut back there. If you've got the proper combination wrench, go ahead and use that. You're gonna need some Loctite for the 2 bolts that hold the sprocket in here. And you'll need a set of torque wrenches. You're gonna need a low-end torque wrench because the 2 bolts that hold the sprocket on there need to be torqued to 12 nanometers. And then the rear wheel bolt needs to be torqued down to 100 newtons. So I've got both of those with me here. And then a good jack for when you're adjusting the chain tension. And that's pretty much it. So let's get into the install here. Okay, first things first. So we're gonna be taking off this cover here. It's real quick. You've got this Allen bolt up top. And then you've got these bolts here kind of surrounding. Whew, it's pretty dirty in there. I'll have to go ahead and clean that out later. All right, so that went ahead and revealed the sprocket here. Make sure you don't lose that. It's a little spacer in here that goes up top. There she is. Boy, I got a lot of grime in there. I'm gonna have to clean all that out too as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull that off. This is gonna be done with the same size, 8mm. Yeah, I can definitely tell those are put in with Loctite. Okay, now you got this little spacer in here, and this won't move because as you can see, it's kind of locked in there. So you just twist it to the side so it matches the gear, and then it'll slide off. There you go. Keep that. Now I got this back from the shop. I literally just got back this back from the shop, and I had them do an inspection on the bike. It's called the tenkan in Japanese. And what they do is they go through the entire bike and make sure that it is roadworthy, it's ready to go. And that definitely includes the chain. Check this play out. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous amounts of play. It's way too much. So they didn't do their job there either. In fact, it's probably so loose, I can probably just pull this sprocket off like this. Yeah, look at this. Should not be able to do that. Yeah, so, I mean, I shouldn't have been able to do that. I should not have been able to take that off if the proper tension was put on this chain. All right, so that just comes out. Old one comes off, and the new one goes in. Okay, there we go. Like a glove. Yep, it's in. Good, all right. And this bad boy goes back on. Looks like I got some rust on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean that off. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back off and clean all that out there because it's pretty bad. Okay, some paper towels here. Go ahead and spray that in there. All right, I like that. Looks good. Now this has got a beveled edge, and it's got a really flat edge, and I'm assuming, I should have looked at it, but I'm assuming that this flat edge goes against the gear. Twist. It should line up with the holes there. Yep. We're good. Get some Loctite on these. Some blue goo. All right, much cleaner in there too. You know, it's really good doing this stuff on your own because, you know, I'm not a bike mechanic, but, you know, I am a handyman. I do a little bit of woodwork and stuff, and I used to be a carpenter previous life. And, you know, I worked on cars when you could work on cars. Nowadays, you can't even, you know, open the hood hardly yourself. It's good to do this stuff though, because you get familiar with the bike. It saves you money as well. You get a chance too to, you know, just figure out how it works. It's really cool. I don't know, I enjoy doing this kind of stuff, figuring it out. And of course, YouTube has been extremely helpful. And that's the whole reason why, you know, I really started this channel, is just to pay it forward. I've had so much help from people on YouTube that I just feel an obligation to just pay it forward, you know? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and torque this down. The manual says to torque it at 12 Newtons. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So we'll get the old trusty torque wrench out here. Okay, let's go ahead and get this torque down. All right, that's in. 3 clicks, we're golden. Okay, so now that we've got that on, you can see obviously we've reduced the front engine sprocket down to a 14 tooth from a 15 to a 14, so that's going to loosen the chain up a lot. So that means we need to go ahead and tighten this bad boy up. From what I've seen online, you don't need to buy a new chain. This thing will tighten right up, so we should be okay. In fact, we've got quite a bit of play right there. I think that should be enough to get her done. So let's go ahead and get this thing jacked up. Yeah, so, you know, I don't have anything too fancy here. It's just a little angle jack here. This is nice because I can bring this with me too on my trips. But I don't like to use it for too long because, again, it's using the kickstand here. Okay, so now in the KTM manual, KTM 390 Adventure manual, basically what it says, the chain tension needs to be 5 to 7 millimeters from the swing arm here. So when pushing it up, the tension. All right, so in order to do this, we need to release the rear bolt, the rear wheel bolt here. And then we've also got this nut here that needs to come off, the lock nut. Not come off, just come loose so we can make our fine adjustments. So first things first, let's go ahead and get that bolt off. Oh, I said 21, sorry, it's actually a 22. Make sure it's good and loose so we know we can move this wheel. Yep. Good. Okay, so we've got our lock nuts on both sides here that we need to undo. Wow, that just came undone with my finger. All right, that works. Okay, so now that we've got this, this rear wheel bolt loose, now we can make our fine adjustments in order to get the chain play just where it needs to be. Now to do that, there are lock bolts here, and there's one on this side too as well. And the thing that you need to make sure that you do is that whatever adjustments you make on the right side that you need to make on the left side, otherwise your wheel's not going to be really straight. The wheel tends to be pretty, it keeps itself, you know, where it needs to be for the most part, but just to make sure that that doesn't happen, you need to be measuring the distance from this little, I guess it's the plate that basically sits against the adjustment nut here, and then measure the distance from there to the back of the swing arm here, and make sure that you've got equal distance on both sides of these. I'm going to spare you guys because this is going to take me some time making the fine adjustments and figuring out where I need to be. And we'll just go ahead and skip forward to where I've got the wheel and the tension where it needs to be, and then I'll show you guys where to measure all that. So now what you want to do is make sure that you've got the proper chain play down here. And I've seen several videos online. Everybody's kind of got a different methodology. And the reason for that is because the KTM manual is notoriously confusing on where to measure this exactly. Essentially where you want to be measuring is pretty much right center of the swing arm. And I think that's probably right. And it looks to be what the KTM manual shows to be measuring, kind of close to where the middle of the swing arm is. And what you're going to measure is you're going to measure from the bottom of the swing arm to the top of the low point of the chain. So you can see the chain, you know, you've got this little groove here, that's where you're going to be measuring. So the top of that low point to the bottom of the swing arm. And you're going to be measuring that when you press the chain up. Now you don't want to be squeezing it as hard as you can, you just give a little bit of pressure. And the distance should be anywhere from 5 to 7 millimeters. So I'm going to start this at 10 here, and then go ahead and press this up. Oh, make sure I'm measuring the right spot here. And from the looks of it, I've got about 6, maybe 6.5 millimeters. So I'm looking pretty darn good right there. I like that play. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down. Then we're gonna go ahead and tighten up the lock nuts. And then we'll go ahead and throw our front sprocket cover on. Now it's important to make sure that you tighten the rear wheel bolt first before you tighten those lock nuts. And the reason why is because once you start tightening those lock nuts, it will move slightly. It will slightly move this if your wheel is not tightened down. And so you want to keep the position of the wheel where you've got it now. So make sure that you tighten this down as much as you can. Well, tighten it down proper before you tighten those lock nuts down. That's good enough for now. Let's go ahead and get this torque down. All right, she's down. Okay, so now that we've got basically everything in place, the chain is good, the play is good, we're gonna go ahead and put this cover on. Before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little bit of grease around the new sprocket. Should be good. And let's go ahead and throw this bad boy on. Now, don't forget the little spacer that has to go up top there. Do it. Now, as far as I know, these do not have any torque setting, and that's because it's not metal on metal, it's a piece of plastic on metal. So just get it as tight as it needs to be. Might even be able to give it a test drive. That's in there. Good. You don't want to run these too tight. Again, oh hey, I didn't even see that. Look at that. It even shows you. That's funny. It shows you right here, and it looks like for sure, yeah, I did measure it in the right spot. So I'm hoping the 23 has this too as well. Mine's a 21 model. Just check the swing arm cover here, the chain cover. It's written on there. It says right here to measure pretty much right there at 5 to 7 millimeters or 0.2 to 3 inches of play. Look at that. All right, let's go ahead and get this. Let's get this a little test drive and see what it feels like. Whoa, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. That has got some serious low end power. Yeah, fantastic. Definitely a noticeable improvement there. You just really feel the bike engage immediately. Lots more power. I won't know for sure though until I take it out on the trails and really give it a good test run. I didn't want to push this too hard right now because I actually found out from the mechanic too that my rear hub damper inside here is no good. So I need to replace that as well too. I've been beating the crap out of this bike. One thing I forgot to mention, I did do this, it's not on video, but yeah, make sure that you guys tighten down these lock nuts here when you're finished tightening this bolt, and you should be good to go. All right, you guys, so that's been another install video from ADV in Japan. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. If it was, definitely like and subscribe. It certainly helps me out, and it helps everyone else out too as it pushes my video up, and more people can figure out how to do stuff with this bike and enjoy it more. Okay, great. Until next time, this is ADV Japan, out.